It's Friday, May 28th, 2021, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden warned Republicans touting parts of the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package that they universally opposed not to get in the way of the $4 trillion economic agenda he says is needed to sustain a longer-term economic recovery. David Trafinski reports Biden, at an appearance in Cleveland, pointed out a list of GOP lawmakers he said are praising parts of the relief package while they're back home in their districts, but didn't vote for it. Those include a special fund for hard-hit restaurants and money for community health care centers. The president's infrastructure plan and his $1.8 trillion American Families Plan are likely to be central features of his expected $6 trillion budget blueprint for 2022 that the White House plans to roll out on Friday. In foreign affairs, the State Department has issued a strongly worded condemnation of a new law in Hong Kong, one that the Biden administration warns will further curtail democracy and civil liberties there. Foreign editor David Sands reports the governing Hong Kong Legislative Council approved measures giving the city's security department new powers to vet public office candidates and ensure those who run are patriotic. The council is overwhelmingly made up of pro-Chinese members. Secretary of State Antony Blinken denounced the measure as a fresh assault on democracy in the one-time British colony and a betrayal of the promises China's communist leaders made when they reclaimed control of the colony in 1997. The Legislative Council was already heavily tilted toward the central government after pro-democracy members resigned in a block last year to protest the ousting of 4 members targeted as hostile by China. In politics, Republican leaders and the vast majority of the party's rank-and-file members are betting they're better off with former President Trump than they are without him heading into next year's midterm elections. White House reporter Seth MacLaughlin looks at the stakes. Trump is a double-edged sword for the GOP, boasting a fiercely loyal base, but also energizing ferocious opposition from Democrats and anti-Trump Republicans. Embracing him is a high-stakes gamble that'll make or break the party's chances of flipping control of the House and Senate next year. His dalliances about whether or not to run again could create a conundrum for Republicans that are running in competitive House and Senate races. The rest of the electorate is far less willing to embrace Trump's false allegations of widespread election fraud and far less excited about him making a political comeback. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. National reporter Valerie Richardson looks into the details of the American Rescue Plan's program for socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers. The plan is allocated $4 billion total and offers pay up to 120% of the outstanding balances on direct and guaranteed farm loans for minority farmers. The plan, however, faces legal pushback from white farmers. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller sued in April to strike down the package's racial classifications, as did the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty on behalf of a dozen farmers and ranchers in 9 mostly Midwestern states. And finally, James Varney looks at the intersection of Black Lives Matter and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Analysts like the Democratic Alliance Initiative, a group critical of Obama administration foreign policy, say the movement threatens to add tinder to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict by inviting comparisons to the American South and the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. A ceasefire that went into effect a week ago has quelled the 11-day war between Hamas and Israel for now. The Biden administration sent Secretary of State Antony Blinken to the Middle East during that period, with assurances the United States remains firmly behind Israel. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the front page. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.